The family reunion happened every 3 years at Uncle Henry's sprawling estate in Connecticut, a place where the lawn looked like it had been carved from a golf course, and the pool shimmered like something out of a resort magazine. That year, 53 members of the Anderson family gathered, balancing paper plates of barbecue, chasing children with sticky hands, and trading stories about jobs, houses, and vacations. I stood at the edge of the main seating area, holding my plate of potato salad and trying to figure out where I belonged. The family had already fallen into its usual cliques. The high-achieving professionals dominated the head table, laughing too loudly about promotions and stock options. The married couples with kids claimed the family tables, where they swapped daycare stories and compared mortgage rates. The teenagers, blissfully uninterested in either group, were sprawled on blankets by the pool, faces lit by their phones. My cousin Rachel noticed me hovering and waved me over to where she sat with Mark, Olivia, and Ethan, the Golden Cousins, as I privately called them. All in their late 20s, all with shiny resumes and enviable paychecks. All with the kind of confidence you only have when you've never been made to feel like you didn't belong. I walked over, grateful at the thought of inclusion, but Rachel's smile sharpened as I approached. "Actually, you can't sit with us," she said, not unkindly, but with the casual cruelty of someone who truly believed she was doing me a favor. I froze, unsure I'd heard correctly. Mark chuckled without looking up from his phone. "Yeah, this is kind of an adult-only conversation. Real estate investments, business strategy, that kind of thing." Olivia gestured toward the teenagers. "Why don't you go hang out with them? You'd probably fit in better." Ethan smirked. "Didn't you ask Uncle Henry for career advice earlier? That's like high school guidance counselor energy." The four of them laughed together, not like villains in a movie, but like people who honestly thought they were putting me in my place for my own good. Heat flushed up my neck as I stood there with my plate, my humiliation swallowed by the sounds of the reunion continuing around us: promotions, mortgages, vacations, the chorus of normal adulthood. "Okay," I said quietly. "I'll find somewhere else." "Don't be dramatic," Rachel called after me. "We're just being honest. You'll be more comfortable with people at your level." I walked away, potato salad untouched, and found an empty spot beneath the massive oak tree at the far edge of the property. From there I could see everything. The professionals puffed up with success, the parents chasing toddlers, the teenagers laughing over TikTok, and meal one under a tree like I'd been banished to timeout. I picked up my fork and listened to the Golden Cousins talk about crypto, promotions, and vacation homes in Vermont versus Colorado. Real problems. My phone buzzed. A message from my assistant. "Helicopter ETA, 4:30 p.m., weather clear for island departure." I glanced at the time, 4:15. Perfect. I had planned to stay longer, maybe even help clean up like I usually did. But sitting alone under that tree while my cousins dismissed me as the child who never grew up, I realized I had much better places to be. The sound reached us before the sight did the thrum of rotor blades from the south. Conversations faltered as heads tilted upward. A sleek black helicopter descended gracefully toward Uncle Henry's pristine lawn. Children squealed, adults shaded their eyes. Napkins and paper plates whipped through the air as the aircraft touched down. When the pilot stepped out in his crisp uniform and scanned the crowd, his eyes landed on me under the oak tree. "Miss Anderson," he called clearly, "your island is ready." Every head snapped toward me. 53 relatives stared as I stood, brushing grass from my jeans and t-shirt. "That's me." The pilot strode forward with professional composure. "The staff has prepared everything as requested. Weather is ideal for departure." Gasps rippled across the lawn. Rachel's mouth hung open. Mark dropped his phone. Olivia and Ethan froze mid-conversation, their barbecue forgotten. Uncle Henry stepped forward, looking equal parts confused and alarmed. "Lena, what's going on? Whose helicopter is this?" "It's mine," I said simply. "Technically, it belongs to Horizon Holdings, but I own Horizon Holdings." "So mine." Aunt Margaret gaped. "Sweetheart, what are you talking about? You work at that little tech office downtown." "I did," I corrected. "I owned it. I sold it 5 years ago." "For how much?" Uncle Henry demanded. $340 million, I said, plus equity stakes in 3 other companies, and real estate, and other investments. Rachel finally found her voice. "That's impossible. You drive a Toyota Corolla." "I like my Corolla. It's reliable." "You live in that tiny apartment," Olivia added weakly. I like small spaces. They're easy to take care of. But you asked Uncle Henry for career advice. Ethan shouted. Yes, I said evenly. I asked about municipal bonds. I was considering putting $200 million into infrastructure. Mark choked on his drink. Olivia's face went pale. Rachel stammered. Why didn't you tell us? When would I have told you? I asked. When you told me I wasn't adult enough to sit at your table, or when you said I'd be more comfortable with the children. The pilot cleared his throat. Miss Anderson, we should depart to maintain schedule. I nodded and turned back to the stunned crowd. My staff is waiting on the island. Island, Ethan squeaked. Paradise Cay. 37 acres in the Bahamas. Bought it last year. It's where I go when I need a break from people. I started walking toward the helicopter, then paused to glance at Rachel. By the way, your condo in Boston? Lovely place. I own the building. Anderson Properties. You've been a great tenant. Rachel's face drained of color. Always pay your rent on time. I appreciate that. As the pilot opened the door, I heard my father's voice cut through the chaos. Lena, wait. He pushed forward, his face a storm of confusion and pride. I don't understand. When did this happen? Over the past 5 years, Dad. I tried to tell you, but every time I brought up work, you changed the subject, or told me to find a stable job instead of wasting time on my computer hobby. His face fell. That hobby was worth $300 million. 340, I corrected. By the time I sold, it was worth much more. My mother joined him, tears in her eyes. Why didn't you make us listen? Because I wanted you to be proud of me for who I was, not what I had. We are proud, she whispered. Are you proud of me, or proud of my bank account? She didn't answer. I climbed into the helicopter and buckled in. From the window, I watched 53 stunned relatives staring at me as if I'd grown wings. The rotors roared, and we lifted off, the estate shrinking beneath us. My phone buzzed nonstop texts, calls, notifications from people who hadn't cared to speak to me in years, now suddenly desperate to connect. I switched it off and watched the Atlantic stretch out below. 43 minutes later, Paradise Cay, a Purita private island with white sand beaches, turquoise water, and the modern villa I had designed. My yacht, Horizon Star, rocked gently in the bay. My staff waited at the dock. As we touched down, Marcus, my house manager, approached with his usual warm smile. Welcome home, Miss Lena. How was the family gathering? Educational, I said. That night, I sat on the terrace with a glass of wine, ignoring the dozens of missed calls, except only voicemail from my 8-year-old cousin Lily. Lena, that was the coolest thing ever. Can I ride in your helicopter someday? I promise I won't throw up. I smiled and saved it. Weeks later, Uncle Henry sent a formal letter apologizing for the family's behavior. Jessica called my office, begging to apologize. I told her the truth. Her apology wasn't for treating me badly, it was for realizing I was rich enough to matter. She went silent when I pointed that out. Months later, my mother called to tell me the reunions were canceled. Too much tension, too much intimidation. Apparently, I had become too successful to sit at the table. I almost laughed. Years earlier, I wasn't successful enough. Now I was too successful. Either way, I was never just .me. 2 years later, Lily now sent me a letter about her lemonade stand, asking for advice on pricing and customers. I wrote back immediately, giving her tips and promising her a helicopter ride when she turned 16. She later sent me a profit report $247 net income. I framed it in my office, right next to the first stock certificate I ever owned. In the end, I realized family ties aren't measured by DNA or shared last names. They're measured by who sees you, even when everyone else looks away.